to our limited capacity in doing economic and financial calculations, no, our planning does have some assessment of what is the impact of the industry as far as job generation and other businesses that thrive around this industry. We can give that to you. Or do you have the
Somebody
data
have
now?
it already?
You have the data now? Or we can submit?
We'll just
If you
submit.
can find
Yeah,
it
yes,
now
ma'am.
within the hearing, that
We'll,
would be
we'll
great.
submit to you, ma'am. Yeah.
Kung kayang mahanap ngayon habang nag-uusap sana tayo, that would be the best, di ba? Para we can already discuss. Kasi ito na yun eh, you have 4 senators here. You know, if we need to make big changes, maybe we can. There's always going to be resistance, of course, with DOF kasi that's their job to create. But if there's other agencies that will tell us that ito yung effect if we do something differently, kasi we're not doing anything differently. We're not shaking things up, and we need to do that. I like your presentation. I mean, I like your response. It's so simple. So, nandun lang pala sa subsidies yun? Ganun kasimple, Secretary?
Mr. Chair, that's the part that can be done through legislation. In our capacity, though, as DOE, there are so many things that we do have that are our deliverables.
Okay.
Like yung grid problem. For example, like Mindoro and Palawan, as you mentioned, we need to fix the distribution lines there, supply nila less of diesel and more of renewable or cleaner but cheap. No? So those are things that we can not immediately, but we can plan out for it to be delivered. Now, those are the infrastructure na we're trying to fix now with the different GOCCs that we have in different bureaus that we have. One that is very impactful, kahit mabagaling impact niya, is the shift towards cleaner energy. Because the more cleaner energy, according to the simulations, if we do reach the targets that we are targeting by 2030, mga 2 pesos, 1.3 to 2 pesos ang reduction. So, meron talaga, things are working, but it's not instant kasi every pieces of the puzzle have to be in place. No? Pero if we want really immediate impact, and I think it's a right call, kung wala lang tax sana, that will significantly lower kaagad. The rest are our responsibilities, Mr. Chair.
No? You mentioned renewable energy, and as I said, SDG 7 is affordable and clean energy. In a previous hearing, Madam Chair, in your team, you were, I don't know if you were secretary yet during that hearing, so it might have been a previous one. It was reported to us that there were 105 renewable energy projects that risked termination due to non-compliance to project timelines. And then, idagdag ko na doon yung nabanggit ko, I think, in that same hearing that similarly, meron tong mga, and help me out with the correct terminologies, no? Doon naman sa exploration, di ba parang ang nangyayari, nagpa-park sila, yung they get the permits to explore, and then they don't explore, and they just park. So, yeah, the service contract. So, can you just report on those two things? Kasi nabanggit mo renewable, it's so important. We get so excited about it, you know, and I even mentioned that before I became chairman of the Committee on Energy, with my limited knowledge, which is still limited, you know, you don't hear, unless you attend a forum where the details get this technical, the average person doesn't know na one of the big problems with renewables is the storage, di ba? Wala pang nag-i-invent na technology na ma-store yan. So kung madilim na, ang gagawin mo dun sa nakuha mong energy, and then it's the connection to the grid. Yung mga ganun ba? Anyway, I'm just saying na maraming nagmamarunong and they want to improve our situation, but they don't understand these things. So let's elaborate a little bit, no, on these issues you have with renewable and then yung sa service contracts.
Yes, the current supervising undersecretary is Undersecretary Guevara on renewable. But true enough, we are purging many of these contracts with the proper procedure, no? My due notice and all that. But I'll give it, if Mr. Chair, Yusek Guevara can answer.
Oo.
Go ahead, Yusek. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. You pointed out the 105 service contracts that we terminated last year. And we could, may mga nag-MR, some of them we
Risk, kasi
consider.
yung infos nyo sa akin at that time, at least that's in my notes, was at risk of termination. So, na-terminate na.
Majority, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
And then we continue to terminate projects na malayo na sila dun sa work plan.
Oo.
Kunyari, dapat na-achieve na nila to, mga 3 years ago na dapat, hindi pa.
Kasi,
So we
and
terminate.
sorry to interject, no, but the reason that's so important, and I'm not excited that you have to terminate. I'm not. But I believe that you include these projections in your official projections because they have these contracts, they commit that by this date. So, syempre, sasama nyo yun, di ba? Tapos malaman-laman mo a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, walang nangyari. The nature of these projects, matagal mabuo. So, if they're not moving along, then you might as well find people who can move these projects along, correct? So that's why lang I want to put that on record that it matters because our goal to be, is it 50% renewable by 2040? Tama? 50% renewable by 20, is now affected. Imagine if you relied on that and sino bang may ayaw na less government intervention? Bahala kayo, sige, private, go ahead, do as much as you can. Then, gugising ka na lang, walang nangyari, that's a 10-year timeline. Anyway, what's the timeline for these renewables ba? Solar, and maybe quickly inform all of us. Solar, geothermal, wind, water. Ano bang timeline yan? From the moment that, I don't know, I don't know, yeah.
From the...
Peg it to whatever is a reasonable time to consider na seryoso na to.
So when we award a service contract,
Okay,
that's
awarding.
the beginning. No?
Okay.
Solar can be built in 1.5 to 2 years.
Okay.
Geothermal, that will take 5 to 10 years. So yun po yung dulo-dulo ng minimum
so for example,
at saka max.
sa solar, no, from the moment you awarded the service contract and it can be built in 1.5 to 2 years, just to be clear, one of the issues you brought to my attention was that yung pala, pag-apply nila, wala pa silang right to the land. So, and sadly, and the chairman, like me, was also chairman of the Committee on Energy Education. Ganun din. Nakalista na lahat ng papatayo ng eskwelahan. Tapos, wala pa silang right pala dun sa magpatayo, dun sa lugar na yun. So, same thing. So, you said that one quick solution there is they have to have a clear right, whether it's a lease or ownership, right?
They're not able to show the possessory rights within
Possessory
so many
rights.
days after the award of service contract. Automatically,
Unlike dati,
invalid
you're
na siya.
waiting. A year
Wala na
later,
po.
wala pa rin. 2 years later, wala pa rin. O ngayon, hindi na mangyayari yun. Okay. So 1.5 years. So, without that problem, pag that problem is addressed, meaning they already have to show that possessory rights within a few days, wala nang ibang major hindrance?
One of the major hindrance would be yung grid connection.
The grid connection,
Yeah,
correct.
but then we make sure na kaya nilang, meron naman pong transmission development plan. If they make sure na mauuna yung transmission matayo bago mag-connect, then they should not have a problem. But ma'am, pointing to your question, we have 1,400 service contracts.
Okay.
But then we also classify them into committed and indicative.
Okay.
Ang committed, ibig sabihin po, nagko-construct na o may financial closure na.
Okay.
So yung numbers na sinasite namin, for example, na by 2030 dapat 35%, nakita na po namin yung 35% na yun na manggagaling sa mga committed sa
Committed.
indicative.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So yung
So,
indicative, meaning they
yung
have a service contract
Yes.
but there's a lot of moving pieces pa? Ganun ba yun?
Tinatapos pa nila yung mga permits. Feasibility study, mga ganun po.
Pero ba't kailangan ma-award na sila ng indicative?
Because
I
they
mean,
will
may
not,
mawawala ba sa kanila kung hindi nila hawak yon?
they need the exclusive use of
That's
the,
what they're after,
yeah.
na for them to make their commitment then, kanila na yon, so that maka-invest na sila nung expenses necessary for
The
to make
permits,
the
yes.
project happen, the permits, like you said, the feasibility. Okay. Okay. So, and then you mentioned geothermal, which takes 10 years?
5 to 10 years.
And in the last hearing, Secretary, you mentioned that we have geothermal projects in the works? We have?
There is, ma'am. Actually, this is the first time in so many years that we have a greenfield under EDC, no? Under EDC and Bicol.
Yeah, first
But
time.
there's also some that are closing. So
So it's really necessary. So
But-
it
but-
won't
but-
even increase our ratio. It's just going to maybe ang tawag doon, make up for the closures. Tama ba?
Mr. Chair, although we are currently in talks and almost finished na yung talks on the de-risking facility for geothermal kasi para mabawasan din yung risk on the investor. So that's through World Bank ba? Or, ADB through and then conduit yung land bank so that we can have more investments in geothermal. So because really geothermal is one of our low-lying fruits sana. Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, yung pong sa to assure din na we will have the supply that we promised by 2030, meron po tayong green energy auction. And this year we're holding 4 green energy auctions. And so far, ang winners po natin ay 16.6 gigawatts na.
Okay.
So by the end of this year, baka umabot na po tayo ng 20 gigawatts. So assured na tayo hanggang sa 2028 to 2030 na mga developments.
Okay.
Kasi pag green energy auction, merong performance bond, they really have to deliver. Otherwise, they pay the government. They will lose the performance bond.
Right. Okay. I'm looking lang for a news article that Ito. Who's in charge of nuclear? Ikaw din? Anyway,
Yes, ma'am.
there was an article a day or two ago. It says the Philippines has emerged as one of the front runners in the nuclear deployment in Southeast Asia. Paano nangyari yun? Overnight, naging front runner tayo? May ginawa tayong, ano mga
Yes, ma'am.
groundwork natin?
We-
Kasi, sandali, ito si Senator JV. Last week, we welcomed the Speaker of the House of Hungary, di ba? Kasi binisita namin siya roughly a year and a half ago, parang early part of 2023. Yeah. And then, nag-side trip ako sa Vienna and I had a meeting with our ambassador. And at that time, a year and a half ago, we have done nothing. Nothing. And then now we're on the forefront. Ang galing talaga natin. What happened? Who can update me?
Wait,
Kaninong
it's-
PR yun?
No, it's, Mr. Chair, hindi yun PR. Ever since 2022, with the new administration, medyo na-revitalize yung nuclear energy program interagency. It just took us time to get back on track. Yes, ma'am. So now we have a nuclear division. We have nuclear division in DOE. We have a roadmap already. Na-review na tayo ng IAEA second time, and we have good grades in IAEA. We're asking for another one pa. The law was passed. We entered into the 123 agreement already with the US and other countries. And we're making headway in a sense that many of our companies are also interested in pursuing our recent we had surveys now on the acceptance rate ng nuclear, but the recent activity of DOE, other agencies in fairness also have activities in this. PhilVox, DOST, PNRI, DND, lahat sila may ginagawa. But DOE issued recently a circular giving let's say preference or special treatment to the Pioneer One. So it's just more of a framework. And so why are we considered nauuna sa Southeast Asia? Because we have been steady. Indonesia at one point was ahead of us, but hindi steady kasi their legislative medyo binawi ulit yung authority. Vietnam is also getting ahead also, but it depends on the year na rin or depends on the country. But comparatively, we are ahead of the rest of the countries in Southeast Asia in preparation for building the power plant. Hindi po yan PR, ma'am. Totoo yan.
Tamo, ang ganda pa nung opportunity mo magpaliwanag kasi we didn't, I don't think I asked you for that update in our hearing, no? So I meant it na parang, akala ko talaga PR, but with very straight to the point responses, I'm happy to note na you seem to have made a lot of progress. Kasi sometimes it's all talk, di ba? So it's good to see. And ang pinaka-importante ko na narinig ko dun is high grades. Kasi ayoko nung puro talk lang. Did you want to add something?
I wanted to add lang, I would like to thank the good chairman of this committee kasi he supported NEPIAC for on the budget side for a few years. Kasi with that, we were able to do our public communications, the mga contracts, surveys, and really beefed up the activities of capacity building of NEPIAC, of all agencies actually.
Si Chairman, on that topic, nasa Board of Governors tayo ng IAEA for 2025-2027. Philippines, medyo impressive yun, ha? Kahit na nasa board tayo ng International Atomic Energy Agency. Although it's, my staff just told me, DOST ang nakaupo. Yeah, but still, no, as a country, that's quite an honor to be part of the Board of Governors.
So, siguro ito na yung last comment, observation ko, no? I think everyone supports renewables. I don't think there's anyone who, would say offhand na that's not the right direction to go. It's a UN mandate, our commitment, and it's what we want, clean energy. But I think what has to be clear, and it's embedded, I think, in the energy sector nga, na someone's always paying for something. So, we are paying for the development and promotion of renewable energy. And the ERC has raised the feed-in tariff allowance from 0.1189 to 0.2073 per kilowatt hour, which would lead to higher power bills next month. Tama ba? Is that accurate? Yeah, ERC.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We just recently approved the increase for the feed-in tariff
Yeah,
allowance.
So kaya nga mindful tayo dyan kasi 0.1189 to 0.2073. I don't know how much this comes up to an average person's bill. I don't know. Do we know how much?
Normal consumption.
So magkano? Ikaw na mag-compute, Chairman. Utusan pa. 0.20 or 21 na, 207 eh. So 0.21.
42 pesos.
So 42 pesos. So isang kainan din 'yon, 'di ba? Isang kain din 'yun sa karinderya. So sa akin, so everyone is paying for us to promote renewables, to promote and develop. So sa'yo din to, babalik din to kay NPC President, no? And everyone else who I know, I trust the default should be that our government is working hard. That is my default. Pero work harder tayo kasi every day, an average family is paying 42 pesos per month. Per month, no? Per month yan kasi monthly billing yan eh. 42 pesos per month for us to promote and develop renewables. So we have to do our best to expedite it, lahat ng renewables natin. Yes, Secretary.
Yes, Madam Chair. It's always a dilemma, no? Going green kasi it will cost us also.
Yes, of
so we're trying to
course.
balance naman.
Exactly.
Like the feed-in tariffs, mostly hydro, which is basically should be the cheaper generation that we have. So, pero yun nga, may epekto siya sa feed-in tariff subsidy. But eventually, it will balance off, hopefully. Mr.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We can only see the feed-in tariff allowance because it is a separate charge. But what we cannot see is actually the reduction in the overall generation charge in WESM, for example, because these renewable energy technologies that are on mass dispatch, they would not offer any price in WESM, and they would actually reduce the quantities that will have to be traded in the spot market.
Correct.
And with the reduction in the quantity, there can be a downward adjustment to the overall clearing prices at WESM. So with those that are exposed to WESM, to these spot prices, then they would benefit also from reduced WESM prices, although, of course, there is that feed-in tariff allowance that is imposed on them.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. So in the bigger picture, itong pag-push itong feed-in tariff, which is yun nga, meant to pay for the promotions and development of renewables, is offset by, well, the mere fact that it exists will now bring down the prices. But so that your explanation is very much welcome. But yung point ko naman was to push all of us, di ba? To act fast, to act efficiently, kasi binabayaran nga natin yon. But yeah, thank you for clarifying that on WESM, kasi malaking factor din yun dahil maraming napapabili ng medyo mahal dun pagka walang mga ganitong intervention. So, Mr. Chairman, I can end for now. I will just listen. Ultimately, I think our goal is very clear. We need to build a power sector that is affordable, that is sustainable, and that is resilient. Let's think of our kababayans all over the country that are really depending on us for this. One last sector that I just want to include is the tourism sector, no? I think all of us here, but again, itong seatmate ko, talagang we like to promote local tourism, and ang hirap kasi when you look at the downside of local tourism, yun nga yung magba-brown out. So parang ang hirap din talaga. It's so hard to support our tourism when these factors are a big factor. When we have this power outages as a big factor in our promoting ourselves as a tourist destination. So tulungan lang natin. Oo.
Mr. Chair, just for example, we are aware and we are also working with the OT. For example, for Siargao, trying to find funding to improve whether it's the subsea cable or the distribution lines within. So Siargao, Siquijor, ano pa? Which one? Camotes Island, Palawan also. We're trying to work with MIC, even our whatever is available with the DBM and NEA to focus on these areas. And we've had several meetings already with our different agencies for this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Secretary, and to the entire DOE team. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator